follow me on this one. How about that? How about that? Goddamn, this is what the hell we do. Let's smoke our, let's talk our, the Raiders goddamn way. Let's do it.
It be that R, it be that A, it be that I, our defense bang. It be that E, it be that R, it be that S on our chest that got us far. We be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, just wanna be that hater. We be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders, we be them Raiders. Give me a stack, I'ma turn it to some racks. LA, you wanna give us our home, but LV got us on the map. That be a fact, I've let it all on silver and black. Hard Carson and Mad Max got me, and I've been down since the 90s. You want the black hole, homie, don't try me. Please roll deep, some say that we grind me. But we bring the revenue every time we grind and third and summon. Wallace gone, Brentford caught it, and now he's spinning. Mariota on third, he's sprinting. R.I.P. Madden on Davis and all of the
ill intent, violence, physicality, execution.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Chris who Protect the Show podcast, where my opinions might not always be popular, but they'll always be authentic, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Got a special guest in the building, but before I get to my boy, let me holler at the Shield Squad, man. So salute to everybody in the Shield Squad. Got my boy UEP in the building, man. Says salute PTS. Chris, salute Big Mike. Going to miss a live at the A's game, man. Shout out to you, man. A-Train in the building. He said, why does all Raider Nation hate Minshew? Don't we just want the best man to win? I'm getting the weak-ass car vibes again, and it's annoying. Y'all need to be happy. Drink a beer, for God's sake. We're going to talk about the A-Train. You know where I stand on that. He said, bro, they're both on the same team. Get out of your feelings for real. Got my boy Billy Davis in the building, man. Salute to you, my guy. Got Eric's Raider, Hater, Hunter. Shout out to you, man. Got my boy Watts Raider in the building. He said it's always a portion of Raider Nation that loves the division. Once you grasp that, then you know why Minshew is being hated. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate everybody that's in the chat, man. Make sure you guys hit them thumbs, man. You know, pay that shield tax, as we call it. Pay that shield tax. But I know you guys tired of just hearing me, man. Got to bring my boy in the building. Big Mike, what's up, boy?
Man, what's going on? It's been a minute. Thanks for having me. Allow me to protect the shield with you, man.
Hey, man.
Let's get it going, man.
Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Bro. First of all, how you been? First of all, I gotta say how fire that hat is, bro.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I ain't gonna lie. That's sick. I ain't seen the satin joint like that. I ain't seen that fire.
Yeah. I pull it out for the special occasion.
I feel you. Okay. I feel okay. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what's up, man. But yeah, man. So, you know, really wanted to talk about, you know, what's going on with training camp, man. So, you know, second day of pads, man. You know, before the pads came on, we kind of heard a lot of talk regarding like the defense and stuff like that.
Right.
But day one of pads, defense dominated. You know, it's pretty much one-sided, you know, from everything that I'm hearing.
Right.
Day two was a little bit different from what I heard, but I just want to get kind of so far. How do you feeling about the camp so far? Are you still nervous about certain things? Are you feeling better about certain things? Just kind of where you stand.
It's pretty much status quo, man. I mean,
okay.
When you look at a defense, when you just look at the defense versus the offense with any team, the defense is always going to be ahead of the curve, because when you run a basic defense, even at the basic level, and even when we're not even talking about the fact that the Raiders defense has been in a third year of a system, take away the fact that they might be one of the elite defenses in the league this year on paper. That's what people are talking about.
Yeah.
You take that all away, defenses from the beginning are always going to be ahead of the offense. That's always the thing, because at the basic level, defenses can kind of just pin their ears back and go at 100%.
Exactly.
At the basic level of an offense, you can't necessarily do that, because you got to install timing, especially with this offense that we're running under Getsy. You know, the read option, you got to have timing. There's timing routes. The run game has to be installed. You know, you haven't been able to do that all off season. So there's different wrinkles that the offense had to learn and get acclimated with, as opposed to the defense, they can kind of just fly. And then you add on now the fact that this defense is one of the elites in this, in the game on paper. That's what we're expecting from them.
Yeah.
You got to add that to the mix. I already knew that the offense was just going to struggle a little bit. So it's status quo to me. I'm not panicking. I don't think Raider Nation should panic. I know you want to see certain things from the offense, but hey, that's just the name of the game sometime. And this is a new offense too. So we're going to have to be a little bit patient with these guys.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. Because especially you get some of those young guys, like even Aiden. I know he's an older rookie or second-year player, but starting off as a rookie in Josh McDaniels' complicated system, you almost got to just unlearn everything you learned last year. It's a different system, I'm sure. His head was probably spinning during certain times, plus the whole situation that was behind it anyway was already tough. So, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people have to be patient. Everybody kind of knows where I stand from the quarterback standpoint, but I'm not truly worried about the offense just yet. But I'm glad to hear the news that I heard today. It sounds like they're fighting back. It sounds like, they weren't getting pushed around. They weren't going to get bullied. They're barking right back, because that defense been barking. They've been barking all camp, which I love. I mean, they're taking that after, our coach. But the fact that, they're fighting back, I love seeing that, man. I love seeing that.
Yeah, definitely. And you saw a little bit of signs of it yesterday.
Yeah.
The offense was starting to kind of find their identity and kind of fight back a little bit. And as time goes by, the offense is going to find their swagger. They're going to find their stride and everything. And then it's going to be an iron sharpen iron type of situation. So we got too many weapons. The Raiders got too many weapons for it to be an abject failure. The Getsy, is going to be kind of, he's kind of on the hook. Yet we don't really know what we're going to get from him as far as offense goes. But the fact that he ran with the Bears a 12 personnel, he was one of the tops in the league that ran a 12 personnel.
Yeah.
And that was with two tight ends that they were decent, but they weren't Brock Bowers and they weren't Michael Mayer. So the fact that they're going to be running this 12 personnel, headlining that with the two studs we have at tight end, on top of Devontae Adams, on top of Jacoby Myers, who could be probably a number one receiver somewhere else.
Easy.
And Trey Tucker, who we're expecting things from. He's kind of he's dropping balls in preseason right now, but I mean in training camp, but he'll find his stride. But once that happens, this offense is going to be they're going to be rolling, man. They're going to be rolling.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I like I said, just some of the small things that get me fired up. I think I forgot who I was listening to, but they were talking about at one particular play, Brock Bowers hit a crackback block on Max. I don't know if he leveled him, but I know he laid the wood on him. Yeah. And to me, that just lets me know, because I kind of go back to last year where everyone was talking about how Michael Mayer just got baptized by Max so early on.
Right.
Brock Bowers is different. Like I know we always talk about just his running ability and catching ability. Everyone wants to act like he just can't block. Now that's not a strong point, but the dude's gonna gonna stick his head in there and block, man. So just the fact that I heard that he's taking it to Max, not scared of Max, not starstruck from Max. That means like little stuff like that means everything to me, man.
Yeah, and they're instilling that type of mentality, even internally. Externally, we even seen it with our rookie, not really caring what people think and doing the whole Kermit the Frog thing. They're like, hey, we don't care what you think. We don't care, who you are, what kind of status you have in the NFL, where you stand. You got to still deal with us. And I think each player is kind of bringing that to the table internally, and it's showing in training camp. And I think as the weeks progress, they're definitely going to be that whole mentality is going to evolve to where they're both going at each other, and they're going to be hungry, ready for week one against the Chargers. I think the Chargers are in for something crucial, man. It's gonna get ugly, man. It's gonna get ugly.
That's what I've been trying to tell everybody, man. Because again, everybody knows how I feel about Harbaugh because I'm a Michigan fan, but I was probably banging the table harder than everybody. Like, I don't want Harbaugh nowhere near my Raiders, man.
Right.
I had to deal with him in Michigan. He got us a chip. I'm happy for that. But now he got us in a whole bunch of mess, and now we about to get sanctions and all that mess. But you know, I don't want no parts of him with the Raiders, man. He doesn't match the you know, the culture that we have.
Right.
I mean, he wouldn't be as bad as McDaniels, of course, but you know, he's not gonna bring like honestly, I think one of the first things I saw when Harbaugh got there, I think it was mini camp or whatever, he said no music. He wouldn't let the guys listen to no music, like little stuff like that, man.
Right.
Like, and then on the flip side, just to let you know what we do. And Big Mike, I'm not sure how old you are. I'm probably a little older than you, but honestly, I'm an 80s baby, but grew up in the 90s. And when this song comes on, it takes me to a place, man.
Oh yeah, we on the same page. By the way, I'm 37. So
okay. So I'm 41. So you
we
still
right
you man. That gives me chills every time I hear that song. I remember where I was when that came out, and man, you be in the club and that come on, man. That just gives me. And I'm just like, you know, Harbaugh, man, LA, they're not gonna be able to feel nothing like that, man. It's just a whole different culture.
Here's the thing, bro. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Exactly. So if they did hire a Jim Harbaugh, a guy who's been out of the league for 10 years, doing that for the third time, that'd be the third time. They brought in Gruden, who was gone for about 10 years, longer than that.
Yeah.
And expecting lightning in the bottle. They did it with Josh McDaniels, gone for about 10 years as a head coach, came back expecting some success, and it didn't work out. So if they would have hired Jim Harbaugh, and you got to also remember, this is a different NFL from when he was here last.
Exactly.
It's a different league. And when he left the 49ers, he didn't leave on good terms. It's not like he left on solid terms. He still has to prove himself that he can still be a coach in this league. And you see it right now with Sean Payton. He can't even get it right over here in Denver. So, you know, you can't assume. People are just assuming he's gonna come in and pick up where he left off, but that's not gonna be the case, man. I don't think so.
No, not at all, man. And honestly, you know, I am so like that week one, I'm so confident, man, because again, you know, with Harbaugh coming in, even if his defensive coordinator, mentor, you know, he's a good defensive coordinator from a college standpoint. All he's gonna do is blitz. I think he came from Wink Martindale. I think he kind of came from that system. I don't remember, but he, you know, he's not going to be able to scheme up nothing on the NFL level that at least that early. You're not going to be able to just blitz everyone and man up like you were able to in college. You can forget about it. About it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about college is that you're getting a bunch of first rounders in theory when you're with Michigan, a bunch of 5-star, 4-star guys, a bunch of first round guys. You get about one of those a year in the NFL. The rest of them, you gotta train up, you gotta work up. Now, I'm not saying that, and I'm talking about in terms of comparison to each other team, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in the NFL is a superstar, right?
Yeah.
But in the college realm, you're getting a bunch of superstars on one team.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're not getting a bunch of superstars in the NFL.
No.
Like, so, you know, he's got a lot to prove. People want to, anoint them, and they're going 9-8. And for one, I don't think it's going to work out like that. And I think the Raiders, they're going to shock some guys right now. I think that, you know, we're being so short right now. People are only looking at our quarterback situation, and they're going to be shocked. Whoever is the starter at this point, you know, when week one hits, they're going to be shocked to see what's going to happen. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, it's just, you know, and just everything that I'm hearing from camp, man, just has me excited. You know, so we can talk about just the quarterback play. You know, I know that's the biggest thing, and everyone kind of wants to keep talking about that. You know, it seems like Aiden kind of has, at least so far, kind of slightly may have the upper hand. However, it sounds like today, Gardner really kind of shined today, with the
Right.
ones. So what's your thoughts on that? Because me personally, I've been telling people that if AOC doesn't like separate early, then I think it may be trouble for them because like before the pads come on and when it's not really live bullets, that's kind of the safest time for AOC.
Right.
Whereas Minshew is better when the live bullets start flying around and he can improvise and just kind of make plays happen. So what's your thoughts about kind of where the battle is right now and just kind of what you're hearing?
So you're absolutely right. Aiden O'Connell was looking good when when the pads were off.
Right.
And he's not looking terrible now. Don't get me wrong. Right.
Right.
If I had to choose who I wanted to start, I want AOC to start. And that's just for a franchise, the betterment of the franchise. Right.
Yeah.
We'll have a guy who's on a rookie contract for the super low for the next couple of years. And if he does well, later on you can wait a couple of years before you pay him. As opposed to like a Gardner Minshew, say he is the guy, right? We're going to have to pay the man maybe next year,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And you definitely want your own homegrown guys that you've drafted to be the ones that come up, especially on that rookie deal. Now, as far as trying to win this year, if Gardner Minshew is that guy, let's get it done. Let's throw him in there, right? Problem with him is that he is very streaky to me. Like he'll have
up or down,
really good game, and then he'll come out and stink it up. Like that's what he's been doing his entire career. You'll see him come in relief of somebody, and he'll come up and tear it up. But when he gets a start, he's kind of middle of the road, throwing a lot of picks. He's a gunslinger. He's a streaky gunslinger, and that's kind of where I'm kind of like iffy about it. I would rather have somebody who's going to maintain and maybe be a little bit safer rather than somebody who's going to come in and maybe have a lot of turnovers in any given game, because that's going to put a strain on the defense. Now, we would have a great defense, but if we're turning over the ball in our own territory and they're giving up 28 points per game, what does that look like?
Right.
It looks like the defense isn't doing their job.
Right.
So, I will rather have somebody. I hope that Aiden O'Connell is as advertised what he's been doing in the offseason and leading up to this point. Hopefully he's that guy during the season, because if Minshew starts, I'm afraid that he's going to be that turnover happy guy when it's all said and done.
Okay. No, that's fair enough. And it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. I do agree. I think the biggest thing for me though, well, I guess the question is that just Minshew's DNA, or just was he always in a position where he felt like he had to play captain save a team?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know,
Yeah.
because ever since like his rookie year, he was on a terrible Jaguars team where I think his second best target, I think, was the running back. I think Leonard Fournette was like his main target. But yeah, it's just I don't know. But you're right though. He is very streaky.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if that's just because he felt like he had to do too much. I mean, I think this is probably the most weapons he's had. I know he played with AJ Brown, for a while, but that wasn't really his offense. But I think this is the first time that he's with a lot of weapons where it's like, okay, these are your guys. You're growing with these guys. So I don't know. That's just something to consider.
Yeah. There's some big unknowns with these quarterbacks. And as much as we want to say that we know about Gardner Minshew, we don't really know much about him. We saw a good amount of him last year with the Colts, and they almost got into the playoffs under his as the starter. They almost made the playoffs.
Right.
They were a game away from making the playoffs. So maybe you could argue and say that, this is the most weapons he's ever had. And he might be in a stable situation, and this is the first time he's given an actual shot to be a starter somewhere.
Yeah,
there is that part, like I do get that. It's just what we've seen. We can only judge on what we've seen, and so far with what we've seen over the last few years with him is that he's kind of turnover happy. He's very streaky. He's a gunslinger. So hopefully that's not the case. If he does start, we're going to support him. And And that's a hell of a backup if he doesn't, right? If he doesn't start, that's a hell of a backup to be coming out, off the bench if things go wrong with Aiden O'Connell. So
Yeah.
either way, I'm cool with it. I would rather have Aiden O'Connell start though.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, from a financial standpoint, that it's a lot cheaper, for sure. That buys
just
some time.
And just imagine he succeeds, right? He's well over expectation. This defense playing well. Aiden O'Connell's not turning the ball over. He's taking advantage of what's given to him, being that game manager, plus making some plays when needed. Now you got a situation where you got a quarterback on a rookie deal for the next couple of years, and you can build around him.
Yeah.
Similar to what the 49ers are doing now with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
So they can sign this guy, that guy in the third, because they don't have to worry about paying their quarterback. So if we get into that window where we have a guy that doesn't need to get paid yet, and we can build around him, we're in a perfect situation. So that's what I'm looking forward to. If Aiden O'Connell's that guy, we can build around him and really have a true contender in the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, I agree. And again, it's just like I want Aiden to be the guy. It's just the faith just isn't there yet, but he has to earn it.
Right.
Hopefully he does, because one thing I look at, man, if we could get great play from Aiden and then my boy Ja'Cory Bennett, that's going to save so much money. We're not going to have to go get the veteran corner and stuff like that. And then like you said, we're not going to have to pay a big, contract to Minshew next year if he does ball out. So, it gives us a lot of options. It opens that window for us to really make it work. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. But let me ask you this. So say that you're right and Aiden does enough to get us like in the playoffs, but he's still kind of mid-average. Do we still rock with him, or do we look in the draft for a quarterback?
It's such a tough situation
because
we'll be in a Derek Carr situation again.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest fear with that, is that we're in another DC situation where this guy's playing good enough to be a starter somewhere.
Just enough. Yeah.
Just enough, but he's not getting us over that. He's not breaking the ceiling. And that was Derek Carr. He wasn't breaking the ceiling. Things needed to be perfect for him to succeed. Aiden O'Connell, I could see that. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. I can see that. And my vision for this season is I got the Raiders going 11-6, but when they get to the playoffs, that first round as a 5 seed, they're going to play a number 4 seed who probably has a lesser record than them, in a weaker division, but they're going to be on the road playing them. And I feel like the defense is going to hold it down. And then we're going to be looking at Aiden O'Connell to make a single play
to win a game for us. He might be asked to win the game.
Yeah, he might be asked to win the game, because when it comes down to the playoffs, the quarterback has to win the game. And I can see in the playoffs, he comes up short. And then now we're looking at a situation like, well, he's good enough to get us here, but he's not good enough to get us over that ceiling. And the quarterback market is dictating in a couple years that we have to pay this odd amount of money for a guy like this.
Yeah.
That's another situation. And we've made that mistake before with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So future-wise, he would really have to show that he's wowing guys. I'm still picking a quarterback next year in the draft.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm the same way, because again, I don't want to be stuck to that point where we're always just a quarterback away. And again, and the only reason I bring that up is just, like you said, I think everything has to be pristine for AOC to really make it work. He's going to have to get, we're going to have to really build up that line. He has the weapons on the outside. He has the tight end, running back, question mark. I don't know, kind of where we are there, but
can I put a disclaimer out there though?
Yeah.
There's about 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this league that can do without having a perfect situation. Outside of those 3-4 guys, it needs to be perfect. And I'll name those guys for you. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Even Josh Allen. I want to put Josh Allen in there, but even with him, we're going to see this year that he's going to need that number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
He's going to need it.
Yeah.
So
without Diggs.
Him, and then we've never seen Aaron Rodgers do it without a bunch of pieces. You can argue and say that, okay, maybe, outside of Devontae Adams, with Green Bay, you know, he needed some more to get it done, but he also had a good defense to kind of back him up. And then a Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson is different in the fact that he's just a freak athlete, and
Right.
he can win games in multiple different types of ways. But what did the Chiefs do? They dared him to throw the ball.
Yeah, he
And
couldn't
it
do
didn't
it.
work out. So
Yeah.
outside of those guys, I mean, maybe even throw Burrow in there, right? But I would throw Burrow in there, you know,
Yeah.
because if you throw Burrow in there, like he went to the Super Bowl with a bad offensive line. So
Yeah.
I will give him that. But outside of those guys, they need
Yeah.
things to work out. They need things to happen for them for them to be successful. So, you know, outside of those 5 guys, it's kind of like that for everybody too. So
I could see that. I guess the only pushback I would say is like when you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, you're like you're saying that, you know, if he doesn't have one guy, you know, he can't do it. Whereas like
Right.
AOC, I feel like even with a Devontae, a Jacoby Myers, you know, a Bowers, like I feel like even with like those guys, I feel like it's still not going to be enough. Whereas if you give like 3 fire pieces to most quarterbacks, they'll make it work. Like Josh Allen, like give him 3 fire people on offense, he's gonna get it popping. So I mean, but Aiden's still young. But I hate
will say
talking
this.
about him.
It's because we haven't seen enough, right?
Yeah.
And even what we did see, it was under circumstances that was everything was against them. You know, so you got to give the dude a chance, but I want a quick leash on him. I want a short leash on him. I want to see one season. If it's not enough, you got to get another dude. You got to get another dude. Put him on the bench. He'd be a good second string guy. Maybe let Minshew walk after this. Draft a quarterback. There's some decent quarterbacks coming out next year. Nobody's really talking about it now because, well, the college football season didn't start, but there's plenty of guys out there next year that we're going to be talking about in April. So, you know, it's they have to consider that if they come up short.
No, I agree. Because honestly, if it doesn't work out this year, I almost think it's going to be because we're a quarterback away. You know, we're going to be like how the Jets were,
right?
You know, a year ago. So honestly, and that might be a time where if we got to put all the chips in to go get our guy, then so be it, man. But so let me ask you about this, man. So I was debating on Twitter about this. So I saw the report about, you know, the possibility of trading for what's his name? Geno Smith. I thought that was ridiculous. Me personally, because people are trying to tell me it's such an upgrade. I'm not buying it. Man, because you look at Geno, he had a good 2022 season, you know, strong. 2023 was pretty good, but it was a drop down from the season before. But then before that, you know, like his other 8 years were pretty much very underwhelming, and some of them were straight trash. His first 5 years were not better than Gardner's first 5 years. And it's just like the thing with Geno is he got another opportunity to actually play with a team with some weapons. He was able to make it work. But I don't know. I'm not buying. I'm not into the old Geno. And he's 30. He's like 34. I'm not buying. What's your thought?
I would say this. Geno Smith is this is his last year starting. Last year starting. I think we've seen his ceiling. I think we've seen the best of Geno Smith, and now was in that 2022 season, like you said. My thing is, if we're interested in Geno Smith, we might as well be interested in a Ryan Tannehill. To me, it's the same thing almost. And you can even argue that Tannehill has a better resume than him.
Oh, but he does. Not argue, he does. Yeah.
And you mentioned Tannehill amongst Raider Nation. We're like, oh, hell no, that's not going to happen. If you feel that way about Tannehill, you got to feel that way about Geno Smith, you know? And I think people are remembering, you know, the 2022 season that he had, and everybody's like, okay, well, he could do the same thing over here. But I don't see that happening. And he's gonna have to learn a whole new system. You know, it's at 34, that's just not ideal. So I think we should just, kind of stick with what we got and then see what happens this season. Then we can evaluate at the end of the season. But he's definitely not an option next year either. So,
no, that's
especially a year older,
Yeah.
another season under his belt. Maybe I don't suspect that he's going to be great this season. And the Seahawks are going to be drafting another quarterback next year. So, yeah, definitely not, man. I agree. I don't think that's a good move.
No, not at all. That I couldn't believe, because it was like some respectable sources that were talking about it, and I'm just like, really? I'm like, it just didn't make no sense to me. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing something. But yeah, and it might be because I'm biased, because I just was never a fan of Geno anyway. Even coming out of college, I just wasn't a fan of him. He doesn't have that dog mentality that I like in my quarterback. So yeah, so I was just curious on what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah.
So another thing I kind of want to look at, just going back to like training camp, man, to kind of look at some of the notes that I saw from some of the reporters. So a couple things from today's, it was kind of just a breakdown on some of the plays. So Madison had a play for 10 yards, looked like Minshew threw a crosser to Tucker for a 10 to 12 yard gain. So I keep seeing Turner rush. So is that DJ Turner? I wonder. Is that like, you think that's like a reverse or something?
Yeah,
I don't know who else Turner would be.
Yeah, maybe it's a jet sweep. Maybe
that's what I was thinking. Okay, because I saw him on the notes yesterday as well. Minshew, a rush off presser for small gain, like a little something like that. Without seeing it, you don't know what it looks like, but that's probably him evading pressure somehow. Whereas if it was another quarterback, possibly sacked.
Right.
Minshew throwing to Zamir. Minshew doing an RPO. Honestly, the fact, and I know we were doing some RPOs yesterday, we can't do RPOs with Aiden. Like you pretty much have
not effective.
Yeah, not effective at all.
Yeah.
Let's see. AOC slant to Adams, 10 plus yards. Crosby strip sack on AOC. He got a strip sack yesterday on him as well. But I'm not too worried about that, because that's just Max. I mean, Max is different. Yeah. But my thing is like, you got to hold on to the rock.
Right.
AOC sideline pass to Myers. So what's your thoughts on Laube? Or I always be saying his name wrong. Laube or whatever. What's your thoughts on him? I know we've been hearing a lot on him.
Man, I'm one of his biggest fans right now, man. I liked him coming out of college. I had us picking him and exactly where we picked him, and I was excited when we got him. I think that was a solid pickup. I think when it's all said and done, I see Laube being our running back too, and it might not happen right away, but I think it's going to happen by the end of the season. I think he's going to be our running back too. I see like a 400 year with him, 400 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving.
I'll take that all day. That all day.
I think he's going to be very involved with this offense, and he's explosive. He's not a big dude, but he's a good sized running back. He kind of reminds me of a little bit bigger Darren Sproles. Not the like he doesn't have the speed.
Yeah, Sproles,
but he has that quick burst.
Yeah,
like Darren Sproles had out of the backfield, and he can be a threat out of the backfield with receiving the ball and stuff. So, if we can get something similar to that with him, we might be all right. Especially, as a third down back, you can make a big difference when you're a legit threat. How long has it been since we've had like a legit third down threat at running back?
I mean, if you say legit, I mean, I don't know if we consider Jalen Richard legit.
I would say Jalen Richard.
Okay.
I would say Jalen Richard because
But even him, I mean, he was cool, but it's not like he was like he wasn't like a true weapon.
But you knew you had a chance whenever he was in the game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was third down. He was in the game like, all right, things can still happen. But whenever I see Amir Abdullah in the game, no offense to him, I'm like, oh, man, it's time to punt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
right.
Like with Dylan Laube at third down, he can make something happen. So, I don't know. And he's got an upside. He's young. So, maybe that running back too is down the line. Thunder and Lightning with him and Zamir White down the line. Maybe next year or later this year, second half of the season. That's kind of what I see with Laube.
So you really consider him a number 2? So like, do you feel he could run between the tackles though, or do you think he'll just be like more of just a third down back? Because if so, I think we'll still need a true number 2 if he's going to be considered a third down. Because I honestly I don't want Zeus to be a true bell cow. I think it should be more of a dual system.
Yeah. It depends on what they have in mind with the running backs, what they want to do. Now we've seen teams, they have about 3 running backs and they kind of just keep them in rotation.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, we do have our feature guy that we do use more.
Yeah.
But we're in the change of pace. We're throwing in this guy. We're throwing in another guy. You know, you got 3 running backs kind of in a rotation.
Yeah.
Not necessarily splitting evenly, but
yeah.
You got guys that you put in to change pace. I can see that happening with Laube, depending on the scenario, depending on, you know, what's going on. I would love to see him in an RPO situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that would be nasty, especially with these linemen, you know, in a wide zone blocking scheme. They're going out, you know, they're stretching the defense out, you know, bigger gaps. And, you know, when we think between the tackles, we're thinking about a power running back that's going to be thinking between the running between the tackles. Under this offense, we're not running a power run blocking scheme. We're running a wide zone. So there's going to be wide lanes for him to kind of cut back, read, use your vision. So it's more advantageous for a type of running back like him. You don't need that big bruising, you know, 220, 225 pound running back to run in between the tackles to get things done. So I think this fits perfectly with Laube.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because, you know, of course, a lot of people want to compare him to the, you know, Christian McCaffrey and stuff like that. That's definitely way premature, but but you know, you actually bring a good point just with the running system that it is. You know, if he can run through the tackles, almost, and I know it's going to be a reach, but like one of my favorite running backs as a Raider, I used to love Shady McCoy, man. If he can give us like that Shady McCoy type of feel, you know, of course not as many carries, but someone that can really beat people out in space, still run through the tackles if need be, but that could just be a total, you know, matchup nightmare. I would love that, man.
Right.
I would love that.
I got another one for you. Work done. He made a whole career. He was 5'9", 5'8", 5'9", 200 pounds. Wasn't the biggest dude, but that dude can run the ball in between the tackles. So
Work done was so cold.
Yeah. So if we can get something like that from Laube, man, like he's not the biggest dude, but he's tough.
Yeah.
He's tough. Yeah. So, you know, we definitely and shout out to Talking Raiders. He says Charlie Garner. We can go Raiders and go Charlie Garner. So you know, and that's a perfect comparison.
I like Charlie Garner too.
Charlie Garner was nasty, you know, out of the backfield too.
Yeah.
So, you know, we definitely might have history repeating itself. So,
you
know, we'll see, man. We'll see.
Oh, Watts Raiders says similar to Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
When Drake was doing good, Drake had a couple good years. I actually like Drake, man. He just, you know, he couldn't get it done for us, but yeah, I like Drake.
Right.
Let me get to some of these comments, man. Shout out to some of the new names I saw. My boy Casper in the building. He said Pete Pancakes Tyree today. Love hearing that. Actually, do I love hearing that? Now thinking about it. See that's the thing. You hear these reports, and you happy, you excited, but then it's like, Tyree, come on, bro.
Right. Yeah,
come on, bro. What's your thoughts on Tyree?
I love the offensive line, so that gets me excited. But you're still at the same time, you're expecting something from Tyree Wilson. You know what I mean? God, but everybody gets, you know, they get theirs. Everybody gets pancake from time to time. You know, it's the league, right? You're not going to be undefeated in this league. So maybe that was just a one-time thing. I hope so. Hopefully Tyree got back at him and we got a, you know, kind of iron sharpening iron type of situation.
Yeah. I'm man, I want him to do so well, man. But he's another guy. It's like I've been on record just saying I'm not a believer in him, man. I want to be, and I had a wild take last year, and I know people are gonna gonna hold me to it. And I hope I'm wrong. But I said on my live, man, that I don't believe in Tyree so much that I feel like both Cleveland Farrell is going to have a better NFL career than him. And then I doubled down. I went deeper though, Mike. I said, dang, what's the dude's name, man? They'll remind me in the chat. Damn, Arden Key. I said Arden Key is going to have a better career. I hope I'm wrong, Mike, but
I hope you're wrong too, bro. But I understand where that's coming from because this is my hot take about Tyree Wilson.
Yeah,
I say we trade him now.
Yes.
So we have some damn value for him.
Yes, because if there's more tape of him oozing off the line,
now he had an injury last year. He had an injury.
He
was slow off the line. He looked a lot better towards the end of the season. But I just don't think that he's the guy we're expecting him to be. And I think I would be okay if we traded him for something else, now. I would be okay with it. I would be okay with it. So
yeah. And I hate it, man, because it's like I don't want to give up on people like that. But like you're right, because if he has another bad year, he's gonna have no trade value. So I feel like at least now maybe, but I mean, because to me, people are all like, yeah, just put him in the inside, put him in inside. At the end of the day, that's not his real position. Yeah. It's like you're just trying to put a Band-Aid over the problem.
Right. And how many times have we picked up somebody and then we're like, oh, well, let's move him here and see what happens. And it don't work out.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't. So yeah, if it doesn't work out in the position that we drafted him in, man, let him go.
And it's hard to really believe that it would work out, but just because of his skill set. Now, if you're going to be a edge like that, I think of how the Strahans were, Strahan and even Justin Tuck. I mean, they were able to move in the middle as well too, but they had that good hand-to-hand combat. They had burst off the line. They had a good, get off, and it's just and I know he was a rookie. I know he was hurt, but I don't know. It was just like that eye test, man. And it just don't seem like he has dog in it. It was like he don't get I just want to see him angry, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have the mean streak like a Max Crosby.
Yeah.
All the athleticism in the world. Physically, he looks like a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the physicality, and even if you are injured, kind of fighting through that and still kind of showing that you still, I'm that dog. Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I'm still that dog.
Yeah,
I didn't see it either. So we're on the same page.
Yeah,
it's tough to get. It's tough to kind of just not quit, but move on from somebody that quickly.
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side, when you know. I mean, we got rid of Leatherwood pretty damn quick.
We knew, and I was the same way because he just looked uninterested. You could tell Leatherwood ball wasn't his first interest, man. He didn't have that dog in him. And I know everybody's not going to have that dog in him, but I think that's what I like in my players. Honestly, I know Nesta hasn't really been doing that much, but at least Nesta has dog in him. To me, there's always a spot on the team for someone like that.
Yeah, that's a prerequisite for defense, man.
Right.
You can get away with that on offense, just being a cerebral guy that's like, all right, I'm calm. But once we get, in between the whistles, you're going to have to deal with me.
Yeah.
And be calculated about it. But defense, I need 11 mean dudes on the team.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Defense is a little bit different. You got to be a little bit crazy to play defense.
Yeah.
So,
what did Prime say? Yeah. Prime said, I want my defensive line to come from a single parent home or something. I know he caused some controversy, but I get what he was saying though. I need somebody that seen some things, man.
Right.
I know I shouldn't laugh about it, but I get what he was saying when he was saying it. So you just need a dog, man. So I don't know. But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. But let me go back to just a couple more of the Anything else that kind of got my attention? Let's see. AOC incomplete pass to Bowers, knocked away by Morg. Love seeing that. AOC slant pass, screenplay to Bowers. Yeah, me and my boy Rundown was talking about it yesterday. We're loving what we're hearing, at least what they're doing with Bowers.
Oh, man,
you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing screens. I'm seeing run plays. You know, he's going deep, double moves. I love it. I love it right there. I mean, honestly, that is a big improvement compared to what McDaniels was doing. You know, I see some creativity, you know.
Yeah. It seems like they're going to use Bowers as a Swiss Army knife.
Love it. Yeah.
He does a little bit of everything. And, you know, nobody said anything bad about this dude, bro. Like,
no.
There's no like, oh, he's overrated. There's none of that. Nobody's saying that.
No.
So,
and that's why I'm like, it's I know it wasn't our biggest need, but like you can't pass up on that. I mean, there's arguably people that will tell you he's the best college prospect that came out of college possibly ever. Now, it's not saying that it's going to translate. Like, I'm not saying that, but as far as like where he is as a prospect coming out of college.
Yeah. Here's the thing, man. I got to be honest on there because it's on record. I wasn't happy with the pick. From the beginning.
I think I saw. Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I saw you wasn't too thrilled.
Like I wasn't too happy about it because I felt like we needed either a corner or right tackle.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's get Fuaga. Let's bring in Quinyon Mitchell. Bring in dude from Alabama. I can't think of his name right now, but
Arnold.
Terry and Arnold. Yeah. So those are the two guys that I wanted in the first round. So I didn't really even bother to even look at any tape. I didn't really bother to look at anything regarding a tight end. I felt like that was the last position we needed. But, I started looking, checking him out, seeing what he brings to the table. He's more than just a tight end. He can play in the slot. He can come out of the backfield. He can play tight end, hand to the ground. He does a little bit of everything offensively, everything but throw the ball. So,
right.
And he could probably do that too. So
probably, yeah.
And now I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it, and it brings a whole new wrinkle to this offense.
Oh man,
yeah.
And the thing is, and again, it's like he's one of those guys you can tell he has a dog mentality. He may not talk much, he may be considered an introvert, and that's fine. Yeah. But you could tell when he laces them up, he's a dog. He's not playing no games with y'all, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's and like I don't get that from Tyree, and I know it's a different position, but Tyree should be showing that more than Brock.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, man, you want your defensive players to be borderline criminals. I mean, like I'm not saying like doing lawlessness. I don't off the field, but on the field, you gotta be dirty. You gotta be a mean dude, a dude that really doesn't. You gotta be that type of dude on defense. Offense. You can be like a Brock Bowers, get it done in between the whistle, being cerebral, being that dog in between the whistles, nice and quiet when the whistle's, blown at the, that second whistle's blown. So, it works out for him. That's perfect. Yeah, I have no complaints with that. But defense, you definitely got to be, you got to be a different dude.
For sure. Is it time to be worried about Colton Miller?
I think that he's at the juncture of his career where he doesn't need to be out there all the time. Now I know this is a new offense.
Yeah,
I know this is a new offense you got to install, but who's to say that he's not, behind the scenes learning, on the board and things like that. If the season starts and he's still not out there, then that's when I'm going to panic. But we have that like 10-day window between the end of training camp, the end of the preseason, and then the start of week 1. If he's not out there in between them 10, 11 days between that final preseason game and week 1, then that's when I'm panicking. That's when I'm panicking. For him, I think he can get prepared and up to speed in 11 days.
But what about the effects of Zeus though and Laube, like what and whoever the quarterback is, if it's Minshew, it'd be nice to know how your left tackle takes on certain blocks if I need to step into the pocket or if I if he's gonna ride him out. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying from Miller's standpoint, but what about just the cohesiveness of the offensive line?
I think that does count to a certain extent, but I think he can get that in 2 weeks. I think he can get that in 2 weeks. Now if it's a rookie, a developmental type of dude, then I would be concerned about, like JPJ. I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about JPJ. That's a big difference. Colton Miller, he's been proven in this league. He doesn't get enough credit as a tackle in this league. I think he's a top 10 tackle in this league. A lot of people don't mention him in that same regard. So you probably don't think, it doesn't look like you think the same thing.
Yeah, he's mid. So so are you saying top 10 of like all tackles or just left tackles? Like
left tackles. Top 10 left tackles.
Man. To me, it's just, I mean, he does well. He does well, but I don't. But it's like when
let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Let's just think of it this way. When he's not on the field, how do you feel when he's not on the field?
Oh yeah, we can usually tell.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Like when he's on the field, I'm comfortable. I'm confident on that left side. The left side is going to take care of itself, you know?
Yeah.
But when he's off the field, I'm like, dang, who are we going to put there? You know?
Well, it's probably because he's always been at least the last few years, he's been our only guy that's worth anything. So it's like, but I get what you're saying but it's like when he goes against some dogs, you know, like he struggles against Bosa, Nick, and Joey. He struggles against Khalil.
Who doesn't?
I know that's true, but that's what I'm saying. But like, if you're a top guy, I need you to be able to neutralize them dudes at least sometimes. I mean, Bosa, literally, Nick is the reason why they won that game against us when we had Stiddy. Like, Nick just killed Miller, smacked Stiddy threw the ball up in the air, interception, game over.
Yeah,
that's all on Miller.
So when I put Miller in a top 10, I got him like fringe. I got him at like 10, 9, 10. So that's on the upper end of average. So if you put that in perspective, if you put that in perspective, it's like, okay, he's better than average, you know, but I wouldn't necessarily put him as elite.
Oh, no.
You know, you can have him in there for the whole season and he's not going to give up. He's not going to be a turnstile.
No, that's true.
But you can't necessarily say that for somebody who's going to come in behind him. I'm worried to death if somebody's in there in relief of him, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, if we put a DJ Glaze there or if we put Mumford, flipped him over on the left side, I'm like, I don't know.
You don't want no,
you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I mean about, you know, he's reliable. You know, he might not be that elite guy, but he's on the upper end he's above average. He's definitely in terms of all the left tackles in the league, he's definitely like that solid B, kind of leading into B plus territory. That's kind of where I have him.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad, to be honest, but I'm more worried about him just because generally he's like an Iron Man. He doesn't miss games, you know, besides last year. So it's like for him to truly miss, I'm worried that this is something serious.
When he's still recovering from that surgery he had in the offseason. He is older, you know. Those injuries get a little bit, they add up, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to recover. So that is a concern. If I had to put a number on it, man, between 1 and 10, I give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. Yeah.
Okay. So you're okay. So you're like,
I'm somewhat concerned, but I'm not panicking. You know, like I said, if it comes to a point where it's like I said, after that third preseason game, and he still hasn't reported, like he still hasn't done a practice in pads, then I'm like, all right, there's a problem. There's a big problem. Because now we're preparing for that first game. And when you're preparing for that first game, you need your dogs all in line at that point. And if he's not in line at that point, then now we have a problem. But as of right now, he's a veteran.
So you're okay.
Yeah,
okay.
As long as he's learning behind the scenes, he's helping those youngsters out. I'm cool with it.
But has he even been there though? Has he been?
I mean, I would hope that he was. Now I'm just assuming he is.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that he's over in Vegas chilling right now. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't confirm whether or not he's there. I don't know. I'm not there.
I haven't heard either way, but I feel like
Yeah.
I maybe even heard it from somewhere that's like that he's not even there. But I can't, like you said, I can't see him. I mean, he has top of the line medical staff there, you know, that travels with the team. So I couldn't see him not being there. So
yeah, he's a professional, man. Like this dude,
right.
We never had any problems with him.
Right.
You know, he's gonna come. He brings his lunch pail. He plays. He's been very reliable throughout his whole career. So I'm not worried about him as far as showing up. Like I'm not worried about that. As camp progresses and we still don't see him, then I have a problem.
Yeah.
But as far as JPJ goes, my panic meter's at like a 7 or 8 right now.
Really? Yeah.
He has a history of being injured.
Does.
You know, and this is his first year. He needs to be developing as a professional right now.
Yeah.
The stuff that Colton Miller doesn't necessarily have to do at this point of his career.
Yeah.
JPJ needs that now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So it's a big difference between the two. Like JPJ, if I don't hear in the next week or so that he's good to go, then I'm very concerned, man. I'm very concerned.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah, with him, yeah, that what bothers me, because like you said, he does have injury issues because you know he got hurt at the Senior Bowl. My boy Rundown was actually saying he got hurt at the draft or at the combine. Like he tweaked something. So and I didn't realize that at the time. So yeah, that's I don't know, man. But I like him because again, that's that dog mentality I like. But still, he has to get used to that NFL strength. You know, you're not gonna be able to bully these grown men in the NFL like you were, you know, at Oregon. So I don't know, but I feel you. But me personally, I'm more worried about Miller. But I can see why you're very concerned about JPJ. That makes sense. Getting ready to wrap it up, man. But before there's a couple more tweets I just wanted to kind of go over with you, and then we'll wrap it up. So this from Vic, man. He said there have been a handful of PI flags today, a couple on my boy Bennett, and after the last one, Crosby lost it. He strongly requested for officials to call it when he's being held, which has been often today. Hey, offense is trying to run some plays. What's your thoughts about that, man?
The refs are gonna ref.
Refs are
gonna as soon as they see that silver and black, man, they're trigger happy with them flags, man.
I'm like, man, even in an inner squad scrimmage, man.
Right. They were getting confused, man, because they wanted to throw flags on the offense and defense. You know what I mean?
Flag on both of y'all, man.
Like, oh man. Man,
all jokes aside, of the play. Oh man, yeah, man, that's wild.
But all jokes aside, man, Jacorian Bennett, I really am rooting for him. He's a dog. I think that, you know, his background, I don't know if you know too much of his background, but he was one of those guys out of high school. He was a track guy.
Yeah.
And then went through the JUCO route and then found his way over to Maryland and made the most of his situation.
Yeah. So he didn't get no offers.
He had no offers initially.
Yeah.
He was a track guy. He was a speed guy. So he was like a 0-star type of dude, went JUCO and made a name for himself and went over to Maryland. He carried that same mentality over to the NFL, found his way to possibly he's going to be our cornerback too. And I think that with him, I think that he's going to clean it up. Now, I think a lot of other guys you can't really speak on everybody, but I think Jacorian Bennett is one of those guys that he sees that he made some mistakes and he's going to clean it up.
Yeah.
He's very resilient. And that's how you want your cornerbacks anyway.
Exactly.
To have a short memory and come out there and still go full speed. I'm not worried about him too much, but he's going to have to clean that up a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's the biggest thing. You can't let your your confidence get shot. Let's see. He said best pass of the day, high arcing 30-yard TD in the left corner, O'Connell to Turner. I love hearing that. I heard Turner had a couple. Actually, no, I'm sorry. When I first read it, I thought it said Tucker, but it's Turner. Okay, but I heard my boy Tucker had some dropsies today, man.
Yeah,
So Minshew has had the better day thus far, but O'Connell has had some drops. Tucker continues to have a rough camp. Bowers continues to look like the real deal, and it will be interesting to see how many carries he gets this season. So I'm excited about all that, man. So, man, but hey, Mike, man, I appreciate you stopping through, man. I know a lot of people in my chat, man, probably already know you and you know, look at your lives. You have a fire show with Severe and Pharaoh, and I know you and Graph and them, you know, you guys definitely hold it down as well, man. But where can everybody find you? Where can they find your work? You know, go ahead, let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, so Big Mike Raider on YouTube, you do a search, Big Mike Raider, all one word, and that's the first thing that pops up, man. We got a lot of things in store. I'm gonna be doing some stuff with Wasted Talent on Sundays before the game. We're gonna do a betting show. We're gonna keep doing them film breakdowns, and then weekly on Saturdays, you'll be seeing the Around the Shield show with me, Pharaoh, and Severe. You guys don't want to miss it, man. We got a lot in store for you this season, and looking forward to seeing you guys in the chat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really love y'all show with Pharaoh and Severe, man. The way y'all brothers, you know, bounce different takes off each other, man. So that's definitely a fire show, man. So I appreciate it, man. Everybody in the chat, man. Salute to all you guys, man. Appreciate you guys stopping through, man. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs on the way out. Make sure you guys, if you're not already subscribed to Big Mike, man, go subscribe to my guy. Like I said, he keeps the heat, man. Keeps the heat. But hey, guys, like I always say, man, players and coaches, they come and go, but we must always protect the shield. You guys be safe. I love y'all. Peace.
We be them Raiders. We be them Raiders. We be them Raiders. Just